Audi's Q5 needs no introduction as the most popular mid-size luxury SUV in the country, and we now have the second generation Q5 here, which ups the game in terms of refinement, performance, handling, equipment levels, everything. But this time around there's a lot more action brewing in the mid-size luxury SUV space, which means the Q5 has more competitors, and they are not German. Volvo has just launched the all-new XC60 in the country, which looks similar to the XC90 and is a lot more premium, more luxurious, boasts a lot more features, equipment levels, technology, everything. And then we have the Lexus, the new NX300h, which is the only hybrid SUV in this segment. Well, that makes for an interesting three-way tussle. The design language on all three SUVs is completely different from each other. The XC60, for instance, it draws inspiration from the XC90 and looks very distinctive. Then the Q5 draws inspiration from the Q7, looks a lot sharper than before, as if it's wearing a custom-made formal suit now. And the NX300h, it looks as if it's designed clearly for the young buyer and is the sportiest of all three. The new generation Q5 continues with the functional designs the German manufacturer is known for, while bearing a striking resemblance to its siblings, the Q3 and the Q7 both. The design isn't a massive change from its predecessor, but the new Q5's lines make for a smarter appearance as they are a lot sharper than what they used to be. The headlights, slightly curved and sloping roofline, and tail lamp design look too familiar though, and some bit of distinction would have been more welcome. So the new Q5 does look appealing, but I'm not sure how well the familiarity will be accepted by buyers given its resemblance to the older model. What is impressive here though is the fact that the new Q5 is bigger now, but its sharper design makes it look more compact, which adds to its visual appeal. The XC60 looks a lot more distinctive on the other hand. Like the Audi, it draws inspiration from its elder sibling, the XC90, which was received very well for its striking design. The XT60 thus gets the same Thor's hammer headlamps at the front along with the trademark Volvo grille. That design and the fact that the XC60 is wider and lower slung than the Q5 makes for better on-road presence, and on the whole the XC60 is difficult to mistake for anything else. The NX300h on the other hand is the newest entrant in the mid-size luxury SUV club and looks radically different from its European rivals. Its design is a lot sharper and the stance is a lot more coupe-like, which gives it a more youthful appearance. The intricately designed triple projector headlamp, the trademark grille at the front, and the detailing on the tail lights along with the sharp edges all around make for a very futuristic design. I have no doubts in saying that the NX300h is easily the best looking SUV here. The Q5's interiors look very familiar and they even remind me of some of the other cars from Audi in India. That said, there's a very German feel to the cabin in terms of the precision, the top-notch materials, and how easily all the controls fall into place. But with that said, I would have liked some more exclusivity because this is a full model change and not just a facelift for the Q5. The Q5 offers a business class-like feel from the inside and is instantly identifiable as an Audi. It is the only SUV among the three to be offered in two variants, and what you see here is the fully loaded technology variant. Equipment levels are impressive as the Q5 gets Audi's virtual cockpit, which is a large 12.3-inch display for the instrument cluster. It lets you switch views and use the navigation in a large screen format while offering a lot of information about the vehicle on the go, which is very useful. The beige colored seats ensure there's a roomy feel inside, along with a massive sunroof that comes as standard. In comparison to the Q5, the XC60's cabin feels a lot more premium and classier. I think that's because of the materials used like the leather, the wood, the soft touch plastics, which together make for a rich feel, and also the layout of the dashboard. And the attention to detail is very immaculate here. The similarity with the more expensive XC90 continues inside as well, and the XC60 is easily the most luxurious SUV in this test. Be it the wooden panels, the soft tan leather on the seats, or the intricately knurled start-stop switch and driving mode selector, everything inside the Volvo feels very plush. The vertical layout of the display on the center console makes it look like an iPad in portrait orientation and is a lot nicer to look at and use as compared to the Q5 screen. The XC60 you see here is the fully loaded launch edition, and you even get ventilated front seats. Another highlight here is the high-end Bowers & Wilkins audio system that plays music through 15 speakers and makes for brilliant acoustics. But let's not forget, this is a Volvo, and what is really commendable is the XC60's long list of safety features. Despite being a mid-size luxury SUV, the XC60 gets radar-based equipment seen only on far more expensive luxury cars, including adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, and pilot steering, along with semi-auto park, a 360-degree camera, and a head-up display, all of which the Q5 misses out on. Moving on to the NX300h, the sporty vibe of the exterior design continues inside as well, and in fact the layout of the dashboard here is more sports car than SUV. And I like the steering wheel for the exact same reason, as it is the smallest and the best looking of the three SUVs. But with that said, the center console has a slightly plasticky feel, and I have to say, from behind the wheel, the NX simply does not feel as rich or as premium as the other two SUVs. The NX300h feels snug and tightly packaged from behind the wheel, which is in keeping with the SUV's sporty aura. And the touchpad controller with a haptic feedback for the 10.3-inch display is a breeze to use on the go, as it makes accessing menu functions extremely easy even while driving. I also like the clocks in the Lexus, as the instrument cluster is an all-digital display, but the resolution of the display is so good it's hard to tell whether the tachometer is a digital display or not. Leather panels in the Lexus offer a rich feel, but the plastics on the dashboard just don't feel as premium as the Volvo's leather and wood or the Audi's soft touch plastics. What's more, while the NX300h does feature a full panoramic sunroof, unlike the Audi or Volvo, you cannot open the glass panel here. But the Lexus does make up with its rich feature list, and you get a full 360-degree camera along with a head-up display that integrates the tachometer, battery charge indication, and satellite navigation as standard. When it comes to interior space, I found the XC60 to be the most spacious of the three. Be it in terms of legroom, kneeroom, or headroom for second row occupants, the Volvo is the most spacious, which should help it find favor with the chauffeur-driven lot of luxury SUV buyers as well. The Volvo is followed by the Audi closely, while the Lexus is the least spacious of the three SUVs in this test, particularly when it comes to rear headroom. I think I've spoken enough and more about the design, the feature list, and the interiors. Time now to drive the three SUVs. I'm seriously impressed with how engaging the new Audi Q5 is to drive, and I think in terms of driving feel, this is easily the best driver's car among the three SUVs here. The 2-liter diesel engine is responsive. It offers 400 Nm of torque at just 1750 RPM, which makes it very responsive. It's very refined. It almost feels like a petrol, in fact. And then there's the 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission, which is again so quick and so responsive, it makes the other two feel very slow in comparison. On the whole, I think in terms of the powertrain, I give full marks to Audi. Audi's SUVs have been a lot more about the driving finesse and precision rather than emotion and being communicative, but the new Q5 changes all that. It feels very engaging to drive, as the steering is a lot more communicative and matches the enthusiasm of the engine and gearbox rather well. The throttle is as precise as it gets, while the gearbox almost seems to know your next move and is ready with either a downshift or an upshift, depending on the movement of your right foot. Driving modes make for a significant difference in terms of feel, and it is easy to notice how responsive from the engine and transmission get quicker in dynamic mode as compared to comfort, where gear changes happen lower down the rev range to maximize passenger comfort. The XC60 is powered by a 2-liter diesel engine, just like the Audi Q5, but with its outputs of 240 PS and 480 Nm of torque, this is the most powerful engine in this comparison test. It feels on par with the Audi engine in terms of refinement, but it isn't as quick to respond and is slightly noisier as well. And the XC60 uses an 8-speed automatic transmission, but even in dynamic mode, the transmission is not as quick or as intuitive as the Audi's gearbox. The XC60's engine focuses a lot more on refinement and a comfortable driving experience rather than offering manic performance. That shows in terms of its acceleration numbers, as the Volvo is marginally slower than the Audi despite its outputs being significantly higher. Similarly, the XC60's gearbox also offers a more relaxed feel and is tuned to offer smoother gear changes rather than lightning quick ones. The Volvo then is clearly the most impressive of the three when it comes to long highway runs with its relaxed and easygoing behavior. In fact, the XC60 is pretty much up there with the Q5 when it comes to quietness inside the cabin, and sound insulation at high speeds is impressive. The NX300h is powered by a 2.5-litre petrol engine that works in conjunction with an electric motor, and combined output stand at 197 PS. But in terms of the driving experience, the NX simply does not feel as sporty as the design would suggest. And one big reason behind that is the eCVT transmission it uses. So there is a lot of thrust and a lot of performance every time you step on the gas pedal, but in your mind you know that this is a hybrid powertrain that is not exactly meant to be sporty. Like the XC60 and the Q5, the NX300h features various driving modes as well, but it isn't as engaging to drive as the other two, even in sport mode. And that's particularly thanks to the laid-back responses from its gearbox. Clearly, with its kind of responses, the NX300h is designed to be driven peacefully in the city or cruise effortlessly on highways, and in that sense, it lives up to the tag of being a hybrid. In fact, putting pedal to metal in the Lexus also takes a toll on its efficiency, as it is the only petrol-engined SUV in this test. Our performance test confirmed that the Audi Q5 is the best SUV here in terms of being a driver's car. It is the quickest of the three when it comes to straight-line acceleration, and also betters the XC60 and NX300h in terms of in-gear acceleration and braking. Adaptive suspension is common to all three SUVs here, which means that depending on the drive mode chosen, the suspension either firms up to improve handling or softens up to offer better ride quality. The Volvo has an advantage here because it is the only SUV here featuring air suspension, which offers a plusher ride in comfort mode as compared to the Audi and the Lexus. Let's talk about the XC60 and its air suspension first. The Volvo boasts the best setup as far as mid-sized luxury SUVs are concerned and offers a ride quality that's plusher than the other two SUVs. It soaks in bumps and potholes very easily, and while the Audi comes close, the Q5's suspension feels slightly firmer in comparison on broken roads. The Q5's ride though feels plusher than the NX300h, and the Audi is also quieter when going fast over broken tarmac. What's more, the cabin of the NX300h isn't as quiet as the other two SUVs, and a fair bit of road noise creeps in. The Q5 and XC60 though are on par with each other in terms of comfort and quietness inside the cabin. As far as handling is concerned, my pick of the lot here is the Audi. It has a sporty, almost car-like feel when driving enthusiastically, and while the XC60 feels as planted at high speeds, it is the Audi that handles better around corners. There's a more connected feel to the new Q5, and I have to say, the XC60 and NX300h are not as engaging, though they are both extremely confident handlers. So this comparison test has been really close. Apart from the fact that all three SUVs are priced very similarly, there's something very distinctive about each one of them. The Audi Q5, for instance, this is the best driver's car among the three here. I really like the engine and the gearbox, the handling, the steering feel, the suspension, and that's what makes it a lot more engaging to drive than what it used to be. Then we have the NX300h, which is the only hybrid SUV here, and that in itself is a huge statement, apart from the fact that it is really high on technology as well. And that finally brings me to the Volvo XC60. This isn't just the most distinctive looking SUV, it is also the most luxurious SUV in terms of feel, especially from inside. And that's besides the fact that it benefits from radar-based driver aids like adaptive cruise control, lane departure assist, pilot steering, and several other features. So on the whole, this is the most well-packaged SUV here, which is also what makes it the winner of this comparison test.